back at it.
Absolutely.
Episode 24.
Let's go.
Let's do it. And to the Do We Have To crew, welcome to another wonderful episode of Do We Have To, a marriage podcast. I'm your host, Sean.
I'm Emily.
It's a Not Actual Family Studios production. Executive producer, Colin Schmedium. Make sure my lawn is crisp. Maskell. And we got a wonderful show for you guys today. We're going to be piggybacking off of our conversation last week. Last week, Emily and I kind of went through a lot of things we do incorrectly when it comes to arguing or conflict.
Yeah.
And we will be diving a little bit further in on the communication spectrum. But this one is going to really focus on not fighting, but really having serious and difficult conversations, things that need to happen in relationships, friendships, marriages, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. And the way you introduce that information, the way you react to that information can affect it from being a healthy, good conversation that leads to a productive outcome, or it'll be World War III. Possibly, Colin, we may need to edit and say World War IV, depending on what happens geopolitically here within the next couple of days. Fuck's sakes.
Well, knock on wood, it's not.
Right.
In a couple of days. Jeez Louise.
Well, I'm just saying, you just don't know nowadays. Being a millennial is not the easiest thing. So we go through a lot.
No, yeah, we've been there and done that.
So if World War III happens,
no.
I mean, not that
bring it on.
Right? So, stay tuned, whether it be turning into World War III or World War IV. But we're gonna speak about that today. We got a lot of good research,
we do.
A lot of good information, and Emily and I are going to learn probably more than anybody else that listens to this about how to do it properly. And we will, speculate wildly about how we're going to incorporate that in and do that going forward, and then try our best and probably fall short at times. And then we also are going to be reviewing The Wedding People by Emily Espach. We're going to be doing our...
by Allison Espach.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I said your name, didn't I? We're going to be... It's fine. She didn't... You know what? I tried to email her and get some information on the background of the book where she came up with the idea. She never emailed me back, so... I like the name Emily Espach better than I like Allison Espach.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, Allison. Wedding People by Allison Espach. Yeah. And so we're going to be finally getting back on our book club. So Emily will be providing a preview of that and, of course, providing an alarm clock score. We're also going to review a 90s nostalgia moment. We're going to have a sports edition for this wonderful month of June. And then we're also going to get back to getting deep. And we'll be doing a deep card today. Weekly. Our weekly wonderful segment of the show. Yeah. Really quick, because I don't, not that Colin gets mad or mistreats me, but I want to make sure not get over on banner time. But I've got a couple things I want to do that I did not talk to you about.
Got it.
And I would appreciate it. Do you mind if I lead the banter?
Go for it.
Okay. So, a couple things I want to do. I want to throw out a couple challenges. Now, I did kind of do this a little bit on Twitter. We don't really have that many followers on Twitter. And then also the person that I had given this challenge to, they have millions of followers, so I don't expect them to watch it. So I'm going to make this challenge on the show. I would like to challenge Jason Kelsey to a 5K.
Okay.
And it can be a 5K where there's plenty of people in it. It can be just him and I. It doesn't have to be recorded except by our channels, channel versus channel, right? The 3,800 Do We Have To crew versus the millions of New Heights fans and subscribers, which we love the show and we love Jason in this house. But I know Jason, retired from football. I assume, I believe he's working out, and I think on one of his episodes, because we've listened to the show.
Well, he has the Peloton in the background.
Oh, he has a Peloton?
Yeah, the bike's in his...
Oh, that's badass. I didn't say...
It's always there.
I enjoy his stuff. I'm not obsessed with him. Okay, so...
To each their own.
But hey, I'll come to Philadelphia in the middle of the fucking winter. We can run through the city. It doesn't have to be an actual organized 5K. However, we do have a neighborhood 5K. I'm inviting you to that. I would love for you to take on the challenge.
I'm pretty sure he has other things
small,
going
intimate
on.
neighborhood. Hey, you can find time to run 3 miles. Plus, he's got family up here. It's easy peasy. It's actually convenient for both. Also, I have a strong connection to Philadelphia. My mother graduated from South Philadelphia High School. Go Rams! I don't even know if that's a high school anymore. Her and my dad met in Philadelphia because my dad was stationed in Philadelphia for the Marines. My grandfather was his first boss in Philadelphia as far as who he reported to. That's how I met my mom. And their first date was go fucking see Rocky because mom had to do that for a book report. How fucking Philadelphia connection can you be?
Rocky was a book report?
No, not a book. No, I'm sorry, book report. She was doing a report. on the movie. So they went and saw the movie so she could do a report for her high school class. Dad's 3 years older and changed than mom. So mom was like, get ready to be 18. Dad was just in the military. So that's how they met and started dating.
I got it.
Yeah. Isn't that awesome? So I've told you that, I think.
Not
you know
the
that their
Rocky
first date
story.
was Rocky.
No.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh my gosh, that's a huge thing. I don't know how I'm sure I've told you that.
No.
Anyway, fucking challenge is out there, Jason. So now it's on video that I'm sure nobody will see. But
yeah.
The challenge is out there. I'm going to continue. I'm going to have Colin. I'm not going to post on Twitter any more videos because number one, I don't think.
Kylie, you and I can go get coffee.
There you go. I'm gonna have Colin help me edit this challenge separately. So
dear.
Colin, I'm sorry, I'm putting you on the spot for that, and we're gonna put some great music background to it, maybe Papa Roach or Creed or some
Rocky.
sort of Rocky, like from the Drago scene. Hearts on Fire. Hearts on fire.
Never seen Rocky.
You've seen the first one because I made you watch it. No, we just haven't seen the second one yet.
I don't remember it.
They're great movies. Just for the love of everything, please. Anyway, challenge is out there. I'm going to get that on Twitter. I'm not going to post anything else from our show on Twitter anymore because I think Jason's a big Twitter user. So I'm just going to only post this challenge, and every week I'm going to reiterate this challenge.
So the next person too.
Anyway, that's right. I'm passionate about it. I want to do it. 40-year-old man. I'm sure.
The next person to block you on Twitter.
Oh, Jason? Very possible. That's okay. I'll wear it with pride. He can get in line with Nick. Shout out Nick Lachey. Second challenge. I've got another challenge because I've thought about this a million times.
Okay.
When you run 7 miles a day, you're just in your thoughts constantly, right?
Yeah.
I want to challenge Bert Kreischer to an MMA fight.
I don't know who that is.
Guy wears his shirt off when he talks or does comedy stand-up.
Oh, the Russian guy.
Yeah, he went to Russia for a class
The
trip.
Russian mob
they
guy,
basically
yeah.
Van Wilder off of him.
Yeah.
Again,
Okay.
these challenges aren't any...
Wait, you want to challenge him to an MMA fight?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know. So here's the thing about this guy. The little bit I know about him. And
Okay.
I do enjoy me and Dad enjoyed his movie. I've seen a little bit of his stand-up.
He's funny.
And I enjoy his podcast with his buddy, Mr. Segura.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all fun. But he's one of those people, like, he kind of, not burns the candle at both ends, but he's like very intense as far as everything he does. He also works out. And so I think he would be somebody, when I hear him speak, I just feel like he has a mindset that he would do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's bigger. I want to fight somebody that's bigger than me. And I think he's like 6 foot or whatever, and he's bigger than I am, right? I'm 5'7", and I'm 178 pounds. So I want to fight somebody bigger. I'll do my own training. I'll do my own working out.
Fortnite's going crazy
I'll
upstairs.
come to California. I will. We don't have to do it. It's not to get famous by any means. It is something we could do just with the channels if we wanted to. But I would love to MMA fight Bert Kreischer, and I feel like he would be man enough to own up to the challenge.
I like it.
That's it. That's all I got for banner today. Just throwing out a couple challenges. Colin, I want you to help me edit that too. So Bert Kreischer, me and him in the ring, MMA file. I assume UFC style rules. I don't know if there's difference.
I don't know the rules, but like the least violent, the better.
No, like submission, knockout, win.
Like
right? I don't know anything about
friendly.
boxing, so I'm gonna have to completely learn that. I have a little tiny bit of a wrestling
save the
background.
face.
I'll be fine. If worst comes to worst, he beats the shit out of me, and it's fine. It's just something I've always wanted to do, and I think it would be badass to do it with somebody that, I don't know, just seems to have a mindset that they're a little bit crazy and would
Let's
be
be
man enough
kind
to do
about it.
Huh?
Like, let's just have a friendly, playful
No,
fight.
that's not going to happen.
I
And just 2 challenges out there. Likely, will they accept them? Is it because they're scared? That's possible. I'll leave that up to the people to determine that. But Colin, I want you to help me make a couple videos. That's all I'm going to post now on our Twitter account. From now on is a weekly challenge to Jason Kelsey for a 5K. He's invited to ours coming up here in November. I will come out to Philadelphia, and an MMA fight for Bert Kreischer. I will go to California or wherever you live, and absolutely. So
got it.
There we go. On to bigger and better things.
Yeah.
Right? We got our wonderful book club.
I know. I'm super excited. We got my little notes here.
I want to scream at them to shut up so bad.
I know. This is what happens during the summer when we need them occupied. We give them
balance that gentle parenting. Like, hey guys, can you keep it down?
Fortnite
Can you get down from the shed? Get off the damn shed. That's how I want.
What?
You never seen that SNL skit with Will Ferrell where he's like,
all I was thinking of was Neighbors.
Okay.
Can you keep it down? Can you keep it down?
Can you keep it down? Yeah, exactly. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, wedding people, Allison Espach.
Yes.
First things first.
Yes.
Without kind of giving too much away, could you just give a kind of a general synopsis on what the book is about? For our folks.
Well, the long and short of it is.
Let's go with the short.
Phoebe is leaving her life. Yeah.
Okay.
She is leaving her life behind and has her own plan. And she's going to go to this beautiful hotel in Cornwall. And she leaves her home with nothing but the most extravagant, green, beautiful dress she ever owned and never wore in her house. And she gets on a plane.
It's getting very specific. Can you just give a general summary of the book?
Sorry. She gets on a plane. She gets to the hotel. And
so
she walks in.
Okay.
No, she's not going to a wedding.
Oh, she's just going to the hotel. Sorry.
And she learns that she is the only person staying at this hotel that is not part of an exclusive wedding.
Right. Okay, yes, sorry.
Of Isla and Gary. And so her plans immediately get derailed thanks to a coconut pillow and her green dress.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you like it?
I loved this book.
Why?
It was beautifully written. It was vivid.
When you say beautifully written, what do you mean by that? Just eloquent words? It just was very smooth, like you could visualize it very easy? What does that mean?
I visualized every part of this book from beginning to end. And I felt like I was there. And I immediately connected to not just Phoebe, but to Isla and Gary and Jim. Like all of the main characters in this book, I saw a part of myself in them. But the most surprising character started off to be like somebody you think you should hate. But then I absolutely loved and adored her.
Those are the best characters.
At the end of the book.
The ones that that grow on you over the period of the story.
Yes. Yeah. And I loved how it was just like a remnants of you have a plan and then God gives you another one.
Sure.
Like laugh at your face kind of thing. Like you think you can do whatever this is, but really this is your plan. Yeah. And it was also about like finding your true identity.
Love that.
No matter where you're at in your life.
It's a pretty uplifting book.
Very uplifting. There are some trigger warnings, like with suicide, mental health, depression.
Okay.
But
that's good to know, and that's good to warn the audience of. You think it'd be a good movie or a TV show? Or do you think it'd be a TV show or a movie?
I think it would be a great, like, mini.
Oh, like a mini series, like just a one-off, like part one, part two, little series.
2 or 3 episodes and be done.
Who would you have play the main character, Phoebe? Who did you visualize when you were seeing?
I don't know, because I don't really. I didn't do that. I don't know.
I just see Aubrey Plaza.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. I love Aubrey Plaza though, so I like if it's a character that I think is within her, because I think she's got a great acting range and she's very can be very eccentric. I just feel like when those types of characters are in novels or books that we're reading, I typically that's who, if it's a female lead role, that's who I imagine doing it.
Yeah.
Shout out Aubrey.
Okay.
We love your shit.
Yeah. And then I think. Maybe Mindy Kaling to do Isla.
Oh, nice. God, I haven't seen her in anything in a little bit. I hope she's doing well. I enjoy her. She's hilarious. She's a great writer.
Yes.
She's very funny.
But she could also be very serious and dramatic. Yes, absolutely.
Again, both of them have insanely good range, but they're just very funny, so they tend to get typed into those types of roles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So overall, what would you give your alarm clock score on this one? Now, for our folks that have not listened to a book club episode before, because we haven't done it in a while.
We haven't.
Emily and myself, we give out of 10 alarm clocks, or 8 alarm clocks, sorry.
8. Mm-hmm.
Don't even remember our own scoring feature. 8 alarm clocks. The alarm clocks signify how much sleep would you be willing to give up. So, would you stay up all night and read this book? That's how good it is. 8 alarm clocks, right? I would stay up all night and I would just deal with the next day so I could read through this book because it was that captivating. Or 1, which is not great. I don't want to read this anymore.
Yeah. So
what do you got?
I give it an 8.
You really give it you would just stay up all night and read this?
I did. I did stay up all night and finish this book in 2 days.
I haven't had a book like that since Harry Potter.
I loved this story.
Yeah.
And I think it's because she got to live her life. Both characters got to live the life they were truly meant to live.
So a good solid ending to where things panned out what they're supposed to.
Yes.
Yep.
It leaves it open.
Right.
But it left it open in the best way.
Do you open as if you think there'll be a sequel, or
no,
open as if for your interpretation so you can actually talk about it with other people?
Yes.
Which I enjoyed. I love that. Yes.
Yes. You have a general idea of what they're going to do with the rest of their lives now.
Yeah.
And where they're headed and what they're going to do. But you saw each character, especially Isla and Phoebe, discover who they were truly meant to be and live their true, authentic life because they are not living to someone else's expectations anymore.
Yeah.
They're not going through the motions of life because they had somebody else's opinion and input put on them. And you get to see that fully in picture. You get to see them living that out. And where Isla goes and where Phoebe goes is so polar opposite of where they started. And I think that is, I think that was just part of the beauty of it.
Sure.
It is never too late to be true to yourself. It is never too late to start over. It is never too late to say, this is what I want to do.
Go to the show.
And it also it does play with the infertility and the suicide and the depression and all of that, but it's what brought you to that point.
Sure.
And who can help you out of it. And it is the people that you never expect that could turn into new lifelong friends, help you find out who you really are.
Yeah.
And be willing to change and grow. And I think that was the most beautiful part of it for me.
That's awesome. Well, to your point, right?
This has been my favorite book that I've read this summer. And I have read so far 6 or 7.
You've read a lot.
Yeah.
So Emily highly recommends Wedding People by Alison Espach. And thank you for that review. That's fantastic. There was one thing I was going to say. But to your point, I guess, and we talked about this on the show a lot, I think a lot of people have a tendency, and this isn't a productive thing, to look at the negative things that happen to them and allow that to then dictate them going down a negative road. Whereas in reality, all the good that you are and all of where you've been, the bad things had to happen for you to get to who you were. Everything that's happened to us, you and me in our relationship, everything that's happened to us individually as individuals has brought us to this moment. Well, then those things are good things in the end because it made us who we are and we're here together and we're happy. Mm-hmm. So that's awesome. So do we have to, crew? Sounds like you need to go out and purchase Wedding People. It's available on Amazon, I believe.
Amazon,
we have it on Audible.
Goodreads.
Yeah, I think pretty much anywhere you can get it. The reason why I mentioned Amazon, not because they do anything for us, but it's because we utilize the Audible. Because a lot of times I listen and Emily reads.
Yeah. I had it on. I had the physical copy, but I gave it to my mom so that she could read it.
Absolutely. Yep. So, thank you so much for that book review.
I'm so excited. I loved this book.
Yeah, you have a nostalgic vibe to it. And also, when it comes to nostalgia, we like to talk about the 90s on the show now. Not Emily so much, but I certainly interjected that into the show.
Yeah.
And if you've been listening the last few weeks, I have been introducing some fun 90s moments, products, movies, etc. And wanted to do something a little different this week. So, when I was doing research, and I'm going to pull up the wonderful iPad out here, shout out Apple.
And because our printer is still being stupid.
Yeah, we're going to have to probably buckle down and buy a printer when we can afford one, when we're not paying for dance and all the other things that are coming up, and Maeve's birthday. So in 1990, so what I looked up was I researched, because it's the month of June, right? We have sporting events going on. I said, what was the most viewed sporting event in June of the 90s? And I thought it would be, I thought it would be some sort of American sport. And I don't know why I thought that. Is just me being an ignorant idiot. But what it ended up being was the number one sports event that was in the 90s that was viewed during June was the 1990 FIFA World Cup. And if you guys have not heard anything about this World Cup, I highly recommend that it's a quick little YouTube search. They have a couple little tiny, like 10-minute documentaries on it. It's fucking dope. The most red cards in FIFA world history, and the moment on fucking national world television where a guy spit on a guy twice in the same fucking match. And the first time they didn't catch it. And it's specifically, it is Frank Regard and Rudy Voller. Rudy Voller is the one that got spit on. And you can find this easily on YouTube. Yes, twice. Yeah, absolutely. You can find this on YouTube very easily. There's actually a little short that they narrate it really well and show what happened. So he gets spit on, and then he goes after the guy, and then they fucking pull a yellow card at him. He's like, he spit on my fucking head. And then they do nothing again. And then the guy does it again. He ends up getting a red card, get kicked out of the game. It is a wild-ass FIFA. And it ended up, the Final Four ended up being, this was crazy too, Argentina, Italy, England, and West Germany. So there was still West and East Germany at the time, and I'm sure anybody who wasn't born in the 80s or 90s or 80s may not be familiar with that unless you specifically study that piece of history. But, Germany was at one time broken up and not all holistically one country. And they actually were the ones that won the 1990 FIFA World Cup. They actually beat Argentina, and they won that whole tournament. Mm-hmm. But like the spitting incident is just fucking, it's dope. I don't think you actually saw it, did you, Em?
No.
But it's like, these are the guys. I don't know if you can see this or not, but these are the guys, and this is the little video that they narrowed it, and you can see he just does, like, he runs by him and he fucking spits right in his head. It is wild, man. And I tell you what, it was something else. But there was a ton of penalties.
It never says why he did it though.
Well, I'm sure they were probably jawing at something pissed him off, or he's just a big asshole. Either way, it was awesome to watch on this. So I highly recommend it. Even if you don't like soccer, or the World Cup's amazing though. You got countries battling it out with each other.
Who doesn't like?
Well, there's just people that don't like soccer, and that's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I tell you, it's worth a watch. They're just the attitude, and it's just beautiful sports.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for taking that stroll down and getting
Memory
deep with the
lane.
90s. Yeah, absolutely. I highly recommend you look that up. Feel free to watch that spitting incident. It's something wild. That guy ended up getting kicked out of the game. But we did get deep in the 90s, and now it's time to get deep with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Emily and I, every week, we play a game called Let's Get Deep. Mm-hmm. It's by a company called Buy Relatable. They have another game that's, I guess, very popular about memes. It's on the show Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, which is on
they do the Friends
Hulu.
version.
Yeah, they do the Friends version, and that's what I was going to mention. They have a Friends version. They also have a Sexy Time version that you can have intimacy questions with your partner as well. And those are all sold, I believe, Target, Amazon, pretty much most
wherever you get board games.
Absolutely, have it. And today, so there's three types of cards. There's
Icebreaker, deep, and deeper.
Deeper, thank you, honey. And today we're doing a deep card because last week we did an icebreaker.
Yeah.
Emily, what we got?
This one is pretty topical, actually.
Let's do it.
It says, put a stop to war or end world hunger, and why?
End world hunger.
Me too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What was your thought process of getting there?
Because I feel like if everybody had everything that they needed, there wouldn't really be a reason to have a war.
Oh, I don't think that's the case. You just think if everybody wasn't hungry, that there would be no...
No, I'm not just saying hungry.
No, I know. I'm just kidding. You do get very angry, though. It could lead to conflict.
I do get angry.
Yeah, just make sure your stomachs are full before we start World War III.
No, I just think it means there's more...
Yeah,
there's something for every... Yes. Yeah. It would just lead to more empathy towards other people as human beings.
Sure.
There would be less notice of who has more, who has less.
I guess maybe if you did get rid of war, then maybe those other things, countries and the world itself is focusing on eliminating those issues as opposed to fighting over resources or land or non-renewable resources like oil and that kind of shit. Which
plus,
that was, actually, I'm starting to second guess my thought process.
I think I personally have no idea what it means to go hungry. We are very fortunate. And
we still live in a country, though, that has so much money and people every day.
But to me, I know what I feel like when I don't get food. And that is such a minor, so irrelevant to this
when your blood
situation.
sugar's dropping, you're not thinking clearly.
I think that would be the worst.
Starving would be terrible, yeah.
One of the ways to end your life.
Yeah.
And I think that the ones that suffer the most with that are children.
Yeah, sure.
And they are also the ones that have absolutely no control or power to handle that situation for themselves. And they rely on people who need to give it to them.
Yeah.
Whereas war, I think, is just people's egos getting in the way.
I mean, I think there's more to it than that.
I do too, but I don't think it's an answer. Like, it never solves anything.
Right.
Like, when has a war ever gotten the problem solved? Never.
Well, that's how wars end. They come to compromise and then things.
Right, but they shouldn't have ever had to get there.
Oh, I know. But you're talking about a small set of individuals making decisions that affect millions and millions of lives, and it's typically over something that is driven in a fashion that I think if you were to actually go to every single person and be like, is this something you really want to die over? Most people would say no.
Right.
Now there's a difference though, right? Like World War II, you were stopping an evil person doing evil things. So that's where I feel like it is still necessary versus solving world hunger, because there may be an event like that again. Historically, if somebody is trying to eradicate a group of people for no reason at all outside of, is that Tegan?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't know why I have to be so loud on the game. Because she's got her headphones on, I guarantee it. And she thinks she's being quiet.
Yeah.
But, when somebody's, like, there's a group of people being eradicated for no reason at all, there's just no reason other than we genetically feel like they're inferior, and that's why we're getting rid of them.
Right.
We're doing it in the most inhumane ways. It's necessary to intercede.
Right.
Intercept. Stop that.
But I just think hunger is something that I don't think really needs to happen in today's world.
It doesn't. I think it's so fucked, and I don't want to get into a political conversation at all. We can, but the fact that both Democrats and Republicans, it's a joke that they can't come together and figure out, when they do all these budgeting and all this other shit, to make sure kids have free meals at school and don't have to pay for school meals. Like,
yeah.
You want to talk about all the things we pay for with our taxes that are things that, like, politicians are such crooks, use, and I say that about both sides. This isn't one specific side. If you're looking for, like, I vote Democrat, but if you're looking for somebody who is going to shit on the other side all the time, or I'm a moderate, and you both sides need to work together, and it's a joke that you can't. You should both be embarrassed of yourselves. You're failing our country, and you're terrible people, most of you, in my opinion. But you have to vote for somebody. So, I can complain about it. If I don't actually choose to participate in the process, I'm part of the problem too, right?
Yeah.
The fact that we can't solve that problem, and it's not that we can't. The fact that
we're choosing not to
solve that problem, that's a huge problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Yeah.
Thanks for getting deep with me. And guys, again, highly recommend that game. Anybody can play it. You can play it with your friends. You can play it with somebody you're dating for the first time. It's a great way to, get to know somebody better at a more intimate level. And normally every question Emily and I tackle, it's probably something we've not talked about before.
Yeah.
Specifically the one we just did. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. So tough conversation. I mean, it wasn't a tough conversation, but the game does open up and allow you to have tough conversations in more of a safe way. And it kind of intrigues you and triggers things that you probably haven't thought about or something you should talk about.
Right.
Which also then brings us to our actual main topic of the day, which is, having tough conversations without turning into World War III, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's essentially what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
And I know in our last episode, we talked quite a bit about kind of what our failures have been when it comes to our relationship and fighting. Most of them mine.
No.
But we talked about both of ours, right? And I think we do better at this. And I think the research showed, the research, when we got it, it showed me that I do think we do probably better at talking about serious things than we do actually when we're fighting. But
I
what I'm saying is I thought we were shitty at fighting when we kind of went over all the research. This one I felt a little bit better about, but there's just so many ways you can improve and have these conversations, which then allows you to have a much more productive relationship, a much more harmonious relationship, which means it's a better and happier one.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So just FYI, guys. So research, we did the Doxum Institute. We had Stanford Center on Longevity. Not Doxum. I'm sorry. God, that's a product that I hope implement for my company. Gottman Institute. And then also the American Psychological Association were all used to do the research here today, right? And just like the main thing overall, like the biggest thing, why hard conversations typically feel like you're navigating through a minefield and you're worried about setting something off or just making a mistake or even not getting what you want. I think a lot of times we tend to take selfish intentions into major conversations because you want them to go your way, right? We have a biological response to things. We typically, our minds tend to want to go path of least resistance. You want to avoid those things, right? So there is particularly. I didn't realize this. They have a thing called the biology of conflict, right? So it's the fight or flight or freeze response. And you have that in your relationships and you have that when you're having these conversations. Your mind, you might as well be out in the wild and something's targeting you and you've got to figure out whether you're going to run away from it, you're going to fight it, or are you just deer in headlights?
Right.
And that same thing happens with conversations, which was really interesting. I never really looked at it that way, but and some people may think it's obvious.
It made perfect sense when we started to go over everything. For me, anyway.
Yeah. And then, when you have these conversations, the inability to realize that, it could be a topic you don't even think has any type of relation to something that triggers you, but it could trigger you and your partner. And then when you grew up and how you were communicated with, how you communicate, how that affects everything that you're doing when it comes to having tough conversations. And you got to be cognizant of that, realize it, make adjustments to it, and then apply it to what works for you as a couple. Right?
Yeah.
So what does actually, here's the first thing. So the biggest key takeaway. So the Gottman Institute, they did a study, right? And in that study, 91% of couples who handle these types of conversations poorly eventually divorce. That's insane. Like
I didn't realize it was that high.
Every 10 couples that are married. So I can't even imagine what long-term relationships or just people that are dating, what the success. I mean, you're talking about very highly likely if you can't handle having these conversations, you will end in divorce. That's specific to this event,
Well, probably also because these are deal breakers for a lot of people.
I mean, not necessarily deal breakers, but something that could potentially impose unhappiness if you're not able to navigate the water in the conversation and lead it to somewhere productive. Typically, probably a compromise.
Right.
You're on the same page and you're moving forward.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
31% of difficult conversations in marriage are successfully resolved. Only 31. So again, numbers say if you're not solving them consistently, you're very, very likely to get divorced. And also the research says shit's not getting resolved very much. 3 out of every, you know what I mean? 3 out of every 10 conversations, they actually lead to resolution, as opposed to and we've done it, having the conversation, going back and forth, and we're kind of like, we're not even going to go down that road.
Right.
Nothing gets resolved.
I was gonna say, it's just because it goes back and forth. Like it's beating a dead horse.
Couples who use I statements over you accusations report 42% more satisfaction. We talked about this a little bit it's a fighting tactic, technique, but this is also with just general conversations.
Well, it's because you take that responsibility. You're not implying it on somebody else. Like, you know what I mean? It's you and your opinion. It's you and your stance.
Yeah. No, I know. But the thing is, you don't have to be fighting with somebody to incorporate things that are typically used in fights, which are negative characteristics, right? Mm-hmm. And again, I really did like this Gottman Institute, and I highly recommend anybody to go out and look at these studies and information that they have out there on their website. Their thing, they called it the 4 horsemen, which are strong predictors of relationship breakdown. So if you're seeing these in your relationship, you may not end up getting divorced, may not break up, but the likelihood that you have a strong, positive relationship, it's very unlikely you have that, right?
Yeah.
And they are criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. I didn't look it up. What is stonewalling? Do you know what stonewalling is? Like where you just put your foot down and you just refuse to...
I think
like
so.
Being stubborn, essentially?
I think so.
I should have looked that up before going. I'm sorry.
I should have too.
But these are all things that I do. Or I can bring into it. And I think that's a thing.
I think we all do that, though.
You can simplistically bring that into conversation about having to go out and mow the lawn, or have a conversation about, hey, we only have like $300 in our bank account. Why are we taking the dogs to the fucking salon this week, right? Or whatever that may be. Or like, you know what I mean? Like serious conversations that revolve around finances, relationship, where kids go to school, what they're doing for sports. Like the smallest thing, the biggest things. If we bring that in there, we're not going to be successful. So, as always, when you do this research and you bring it together, there's like 4 or 5 things. So this one was 5, right? So this one was for the communication toolkit. These are 5 research-backed strategies, and they're research from all of those providers that I had just mentioned earlier. Here we go. You ready for this?
Yeah.
All right. Start softly, not sarcastically. So really, they're talking about delivery. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's
But I think we use sarcasm to like try to make it not seem so serious.
Yeah, but it can be so condescending. You know what I mean? So like, I guess when we're delivering information to each other, doing it in a heartfelt, serious manner for that topic, when you are sarcastic or you are flippant about it, you're treating it like, I don't know. I feel like when I do that to you, I feel like I'm subconsciously saying, well, your feelings don't really matter in this. I'm going to say something to you without regard of how you're going to hear it. I don't feel like you use sarcasm a lot when we have tense conversations or fighting.
I feel like when I do, it's because I don't care about what your opinion is. I just care about my own.
Right, but I don't feel like
I want to I want not to insult you, but like...
You want to give an attitude like you don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like giving off that attitude though is going to be problematic right from the get. I'm going to tell you something really quick.
The fly.
I want this to be known. And if anybody else has this issue, I did not think when I was older that I would have such an issue with flies the way I do. And summertime is a motherfucker with flies. I don't know why we can't. It's like I kill them and kill them and kill them. I want this to be heard. Flies flying around. I will not only kill you tonight, you will die. I will watch the light leave your eyes. But I'm going to find your family, your babies, your women, your children.
I don't even know.
It's got to be a male fly as aggressively as it's flying around.
I don't even know where it came from.
Everything and everyone you love. And I'm going to destroy it. And it's going to happen.
You make it sound like we have a house full of flies.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, but it's like there's always 2 of them or 1 of them. And it's a consistent thing.
It's because we open the back door every 30 minutes to let the dogs outside.
I get it. I understand what you're saying. It's just the problem is I now have to murder a living thing. And I'm not excited about that. But at the same time, I will take pleasure in fucking murdering you and your entire fly family now that you have flown in my face about 5 times while we're trying to record this podcast. And it's aggressively doing it right now, folks. It is flying around my head, just teasing me. I will kill everything you love, and it's going to start tonight. Sorry. So we got to stick to one issue at a time. Do we want to talk about anything about how you deliver communication? I feel like that's maybe a good stopping point.
No.
But I think to your point, but you're talking about like when you talk to somebody that you don't care about, you have an attitude or a flippant attitude. But we can't be doing that to our partners or people we care about.
No.
I mean, we shouldn't really do it to anybody.
Shouldn't.
If you want to be successful in communicating even with a stranger, you can't bring that type of delivery into it. It has to be more of a, I don't know, disarming, non-threatening approach.
But I think that's why
people that wall, one of those key characteristics, that defensiveness is going to come up, or that stone.
Right. I think that's because I think that does come up because it's so sensitive and like you're afraid.
Yeah, you want to act like it's not a big deal, but like again, it doesn't get you anywhere, right?
Right. Like it's your own fear, it's your own insecurity that's like why you have that approach to it.
Right. And I think though, here's the thing, and they mentioned this as well. So if sticking to one issue at a time is the second one. So a lot of times I think we bring in a holistic thing. So like when we had that conversation about the email with the money, I was talking everything that I brought into it was our whole financial health. Not that specific situation of, hey, are we getting charged on June 20th $800? No. And even how I just said it, that's not good delivery, right? Because I'm like, what? That's a what the fuck? Right. Like why? And again, that is a you delivery. Like, hey, why did you not tell me about this? That's how I can see how I said it. So right off the bat, you are probably on the defense, right? Yeah. Like, Jesus Christ, relax. Like, nothing productive ends up happening. I know we resolved that issue, but like it didn't have to be. And then next time you get a call from me that day, are you worried I'm going to fly off the handle about something else I read? Very possibly. No. It's like, no, I'm just, well, I know how you are with me. You're good with me when I get like that. But I'm just saying, like, the point is,
he'll calm down sooner or later.
Because then you're in relationships, friendships, coworkers, where those types of people, you walk on eggshells around them.
Right. You don't want to do that. Yeah.
Right. So stick to one issue at a time. Avoid the kitchen sink argument, bringing up everything from the past, like say 5 years. It actually, when you stick to one issue at a time, it is proven, Harvard Health in 2010 proved this with their study, that you can lower cortisol spike and improve clarity if you just specifically focus on one issue when you're having a conversation. And that's just in general. That's not just having a difficult conversation. That is just when you were doing it.
Well, then somebody needs to tell that to my brain because I have 1,000 tabs open and they all want to go back and forth. Well, like they all want to be the first tab in the pile.
Right? It's a mental journey, but you have to do it, you know? And again, we just talked about the startup. A soft startup reduces defensiveness, which then opens the gate.
Right. Well, it's because it takes the alarm off of the other person.
And so, if I would have delivered that, we probably could have had a very easy, harmonious conversation where we actually problem solve together versus you having to talk me off the ledge and me regretting forever allowing Maeve to do dance. Right. So, but to help lower cortisol is a huge thing. Yeah. So obviously your body responds if you tack a bunch of fucking stuff up on one thing. Even if you think you're blowing steam off, you're actually raising cortisol in your body, which is shown to help be bad for inflammation, diseases, heart, everything that happens with your body. If you have a high level of cortisol, you're fucking yourself over. Right. So it's just, if anything for yourself, that's to do that. Right. Using I statements plus validate feelings. For an example, probably something you should have said to me. I feel dismissed when you interrupt me, or I feel attacked when you get stressed about finances. These are conversations we should be having about how, even having the conversation about how we communicate is probably a really good place to start for us and probably most people. Because if you can solve that problem together using these techniques, then when you're fighting, that kind of takes care of itself and you're still using them. And then you're also, on the same page about how you expect to treat each other from a boundaries perspective. Right. Yeah. It shows ownership. That using those I statements, it shows ownership of your emotion and not blame, right? So It's not about you. It's how I am feeling. I'm just letting you know how I'm feeling about this. And we need to work through this. This is a problem we need to figure out. Timing. Timing's everything. Don't bring up emotional topics when you're hungry, exhausted, or mid-Netflix. I think that's a good point too. And
I feel like we do all three of those all the time.
Well, because a lot of times if we're watching something together, that's a fuck thing, right? You're actually at a moment of like probably getting calm. Mm-hmm. Your body's adjusting to like relaxation. And then if you bring something up stressful, I feel like it just throws you completely off of whack and you're not in a good place to have a good, healthy conversation about a serious topic anyway.
Well, and like I know for me, when we do like
hungry, exhausted. I mean,
like when we are watching a show, like it's not at like the most best time of day. Like it's late at night. Like the kids are asleep and like I am in a zone out mode. Yeah. Like I'm not in a place where I can like physically, emotionally like get back into.
And I think that's the thing.
Conscious awareness.
If you're going to have a serious conversation, even if it's hard to, even if it makes you stressed to schedule, like I don't like it when you're like, I have to talk to you. But then you don't talk to me right at that moment. And that's just because that's my high functioning anxiety.
Like you think something's majorly wrong. Yeah.
Honestly, you know what a big thing is? Exercise. Like running every day, working out every day with myself, by myself, and then also with James. My ability to respond to things is just so different. So like now, yeah, I can use that part of I can compartmentalize my mind now because I've been doing a better job physically taking care of myself. This is just a recommendation for everybody. I've noticed without even doing anything to specifically work on any mental issues I'm having, the more consistently I've worked out, those things have naturally gone away in a sense. And one of those is definitely like freaking out about like, hey, I need to talk. Like, well, whatever it's going to be, it's going to be. And it's not going to be the worst thing that's I'm thinking or comes in my mind.
And even if it is, we've figured it out. We've been through something probably 10 times worse. So let's just keep going. Which
leads to the good point is you need to then be, if you're able to have that in your mindset and not be worried or freaked out and then have to talk about it, be strategic about when you schedule it. And I think you and I need to come up with a time depending on the day of, hey, we need to sit down and have a quick cup of coffee while everybody's kind of doing their thing or getting ready for their day. And let's just take 5 minutes and talk about what's on my mind or, vice versa. Right.
Yeah.
These seems so elementary, but
like we kind of had that yesterday.
Couples are doing that. I just don't know. Like we all as couples could be better about how we're strategically navigating the waters together. And it's going to save a lot of relationships if we do this, and not even save them like it's going to end, but make them happy and harmonious, which then allows our kids and our friends and everybody else to feed off that positive energy rather than not wanting to be around you.
Right. Well, like yesterday after my doctor appointment, and I was trying to tell you, it was like, I should have told you some of these things a long time ago.
Sure. Yeah.
And like, I started to tell you, and then we had to go our separate ways. Like we had to go do things.
Yeah. It was middle of work. Like I had to jump back into,
I had to work. Take kids to whatever. And it was like,
we do need to revisit.
I really wanted to finish that conversation, but like we don't have the opportunity to do it.
We do need to revisit that conversation.
Well, I mean, it's over now.
No, it's not. We need to schedule the time to talk about it, and we need to go over that. And that's the thing, Emily specifically talking about, she had a doctor's appointment. We're talking about health, right? And her and I tried to have a quick conversation about it. And in my way of trying to deal with something quick, if we're not scheduling it out, is, hey, everything's gonna be okay. Quick hug. Did you get to really even talk about your feelings about it? Did you, probably?
I mean, I started to.
Yeah, but then it got cut off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's life.
We have to be strategic. Yeah, but life's not going to change. We have to change.
Right.
We have to do what we can control. What we can control is to this point. If we listen to the research and you actually mindfully do these things, which means you have to listen to somebody telling you what the research says. So Mr. Mrs. comment out there about this is stuff we already know. I don't believe that. Maybe you know it, I guess, deep down, but you ain't fucking doing it. Right. So you need to hear about what that means. 91% of relationships ends if you're not doing this shit consistently.
Yeah.
We need to make time for each other for that. And it has to be the day when you're feeling the way you're feeling. That's not good for you to hold that in. But it's also not good for you just to kind of get it out, start having an emotional response, and then you just have to move on and then put it away. It's not good. You know what I mean? And that's why timing is everything. We have to
really
schedule
is.
those difficult conversations with intention, to deal with it.
Well, and like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't bring it up at the right time. I started it in passing, and I didn't do it on purpose to not have time to have the conversation. I just didn't think about, this is something we should talk about. This is something I want to talk about. When is the best time for it?
Right.
It was like, I saw you for 30 seconds. I wanted to tell you. And then it was like, okay.
Yeah. So sometimes it's just not good just to rifle it off right away. We have to schedule it. And that's not just you though. I could have said, hey, I feel like this is a big conversation that you need more support on. And I'm not going to be able to give that to you at the moment because we're running around and you're not going to even be able to actually properly express yourself. Let's tonight have a glass of wine or whatever, and let's just sit down and chat through it. You know what I mean? You don't have to drink alcohol, but we recommend it. And repair in real time, right? So use phrases like, that came out wrong. Can I try that again? Actually, see, that's the other thing too. Being a human being and fucking while you're having the conversation, instead of, I'm terrible about this, firing off, and then it's saying you're sorry after. Yeah. Actually doing repair and admitting, we do this. I think we do this well with the kids while we're getting upset. I could be better. But we need to approach that with you. What you look like you had something.
I was like super excited when you said we recommend drinking. We found gluten-free.
We didn't find it. We just didn't know all along that Boulevard Quirks and ciders are all gluten-free.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. And you spent like $20 on them. You haven't drank a single one yet.
Yes, I have.
Did you really?
Yeah.
When?
The other night.
Did you have the Clementine quirk?
I did.
Did you like it?
I loved it.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, guys, Quirks out there, they have a bunch of new different flavors. And this one was a Clementine.
Tonight is the pineapple
You're going to try the pineapple cider tonight.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay.
Super excited for it.
And that's by the Cinder Block, which is in North Kansas City. So if anybody in the Kansas City area, if you're visiting Kansas City, Cinder Block. And then, of course, we have Boulevard Brewing, which I think is mostly national at this point. There are places that don't have it. Yeah. But
super excited about it.
Kansas City, enjoy both of those. They make a wonderful seltzer called Quirks. But then they have wonderful beer, especially for the summertime. The Boulevard Wheat is amazing.
Yeah.
So, doing these things, guys, it may seem simplistic in nature or like, oh, hey, we know you need to be soft. Again, listen to this, take those things, be mindful of it. And like I said, as far as the research itself, right? Gottman Institute, American Psychological Association, Stanford Center on Longevity, as well as the Harvard Health. If you type it, like, especially if you utilize AI, and most phones now have an AI feature to them you can take this topic, you can add it in there, you can ask them to pull back research where you can even mention the research, and they'll pull back that stuff and provide it to you. It's fantastic. So, highly recommend. This is a really good way of not only navigating fights, which I think can tend to be self-serving for the couple, but self-serving for the individuals. This is really about navigating conversations that have to happen that we tend to avoid until something bad's happened and then we're being reactive. It's time to start being proactive. There's
a really amazing book that I read when I was very, very active in my real estate career called Fierce Conversations and How to Have Them. And I cannot remember who it was written by, but take a quick Google pass on that book, and it's a really good.
What's the book called again?
Fierce Conversations and How to Have Them.
Okay. I like that.
It's more businessy, but it still gives you a good outline on how to have these conversations with everybody in your life and every aspect on them, because these are the conversations that you have to have in order to be successful for yourself and people around you. So I think that's another good resource too.
That's awesome. No, I think that's great. And hopefully everybody got something out of this. Please let us know, reach out to us, dowehavето.com. Of course, you can follow us on our socials, which we'll give out here in a moment. Let us know how that journey's been for you. Let us know if there's any material or research out there. There are books that you've read that have done that. You can help couples. You can save a marriage, a friendship, a relationship. I mean, that's why we're doing what we're doing. So, again, thank you guys for listening today. We're going to be wrapping up the show. And again, like I'd mentioned, dowehavето.com. That's our website. Get updates on the show. You can also get access to our YouTube channel if you want to go through there, which is youtube.com/dowehavetoapodcast. But not only have we been on a relationship journey and been supporting couples and friends and all those sorts of things with the project, but we've also started a health journey, and we're utilizing Peloton. My handle is Do We Have To Pod KC. We actually have a team, which is the Do We Have To Crew. We also have a hashtag, if you want to put that as your label, is Do We Have To Crew. But the team itself now, it is growing. We got more members this week. The week of June 9th through 15th, I said I'm going to start, giving our top 10 of folks that finished out the week in the top 10 as far as productivity. At number one again, and this is like I think it's the third or fourth week in a row, is Krabby Cakes out of the UK, who is training for a marathon. Listen to how much she worked out last week. So in a 7-day week, she worked out for 34 hours and 22 minutes.
Oh my God.
She was first place by far. Second place was me. I worked out 12 hours, 8 minutes. So a little over an hour
Still
every
impressive,
day.
but shoot.
But look, there's just such great success here. Michaela Bryan in Kansas City, 7 hours and 50 minutes. Relentless KC, 6 hours, 19 minutes. Go Unicorn Go out of KC, 5 hours, 35 minutes. Not a Runner Katie in Kansas, a wonderful teacher, Iowa raised, 5 hours and 16 minutes. Kelsey Lifts out of Garwood, Texas, 5 hours and 7 minutes. Crazy Spin Legs out of Orlando, 4 hours. Raising Cane out of Maryville, Mo, 3 hours and 36 minutes. And rounding it up is Chiefs Chick 816, 3 hours and 27 minutes. And then we got multiple people that have been working out every day.
That's awesome.
Which is awesome. And that's what our challenge is this month, guys. It is just, how many days in the month can you work out, right? And I highly recommend everybody make sure and go out. You can just go join our team. There's no request where I approve it or anything. You just go, you're on the team. If I don't follow you, follow me, or I'll follow you once you join the team. And you can just go right in and do the challenge, which is work out for the most days. And right now we have a tie at first between me and Crazy Spin Legs because we worked out every day in the month of June. So,
nice.
Which is awesome. So everybody keep up the good work. We'd love to have you on the team. And I think that's just been, again, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but there is a huge connection between the physical and the mental side of things, and your relationships and how you treat people. If you're taking care of yourself through the power of exercise, I'm telling you, other things open up in a much more positive manner.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, socials. So just really quick, so everybody's aware, I already mentioned dowehavto.com, and we also have our Instagram, Threads, and Facebook is at do.we.have.to. X, where you'll be hearing now my challenges for both Jason Kelsey and Bert Kreischer. Jason Kelsey for the 5K, Bert Kreischer for the MMA fight, is at Do We Have To Pod. And then TikTok is at Do We Have To A Marriage Pod.
Yeah.
So, advice time. Let's do it, girl. What do you got for everybody? How are we going to end the show? What's the advice you got for them?
Have fun, be kind, learn something.
You can't do the same one every week. You got to try to.
I do.
There's plenty of things you can say and do.
It's
and be.
Never too late to live your best life.
That's absolutely. One day or day one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good. Yes, exactly. It is never too late. And so everybody think about that. You're driving home, you're dealing with everybody. And here's the thing. We're all there with you. Everybody's dealing with issues and problems and those sorts of things. But at the end of the day, there's no excuse not to just continue to try to be your best self. Mm-hmm. Let's continue to do that. We'll be back next week with another topic, and we look forward to chatting with you guys soon.
Yeah.
I love you.
Love you. Bye.
Wake up, I'm about to shake up every little thing, show you all that we can be. Come dance in my club.